Why did the United States just hit the panic button and order a crash program to build a nuclear reactor on the moon by 2030? Because they just found out China and Russia are teaming up to beat them to it. The battle for the moon is no longer about flags. It is about nuclear power. For decades, humanity's exploration of space has relied heavily on the sun. We send probes, satellites, and rovers into the void, and they deploy giant solar panels to catch the sun's rays. It is clean, it is easy, and it works. Until it doesn't. You see, the moon is a very harsh mistress. A single day on the moon lasts about 29 Earth days. That means any base built on a lunar surface has to endure 14 straight days of absolute freezing darkness. During this lunar night, temperatures plummet to minus 133 degrees Celsius, and in the deep craters of the South Pole, it can drop to an unimaginable minus 246 degrees. At these temperatures, batteries drain, metals turn brittle, and electronic circuits just stop working. If we want to stay on the moon, if we want to build 3D printed habitats, mine resources, and support human life, solar power is simply a joke. You cannot survive a 2-week winter with a solar panel. You need a powerhouse. You need continuous, uninterrupted, massive amounts of energy. And that is exactly what China and Russia are building. A joint, automated, robotic nuclear power plant designed to turn the moon into a permanent industrial base by the year 2035. And let me tell you, this plan has NASA absolutely terrified. So why are we talking about this right now? Why is 2026 the year everyone is suddenly obsessed with lunar nuclear reactors? Over the last 12 to 18 months, the geopolitical landscape of space has completely shifted. In early 2024, Russia's space agency Roscosmos casually dropped a bombshell. They announced that Russia and China were seriously evaluating a project to deliver and establish a nuclear energy unit on the lunar surface between 2033 and 2035. By late 2025, this wasn't just talk anymore. The two nations signed memorandums to build the International Lunar Research Station. And the cornerstone of this station is a megawatt-class nuclear reactor. But they aren't sending human construction workers to build it. No, that would be too dangerous. They're going to build it entirely using robotic technology. His announcement sent shockwaves through Washington. The United States' Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the moon, relies heavily on international partnerships. But suddenly, China was creating a rival coalition. In August 2025, NASA realized they were falling behind. Acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy issued an emergency directive to fast-track a US nuclear reactor for the moon by 2030. NASA wants a 100-kilowatt reactor up there before China finishes theirs. It is the Cold War all over again, but this time it is literally freezing, and the prize is the ultimate high ground. But building a nuclear reactor in space is not like building one on Earth. It requires completely reinventing how we understand physics and engineering. Before we dive into how you actually cool a nuclear reactor in the vacuum of space without water, I want to hear from you. Who do you think will get a working nuclear reactor on the moon first? The United States in 2030 or China and Russia by 2035? Drop your predictions in the comments down below. I will pin the best view. Let's get into the engineering, because this is where it gets crazy. If you look at a nuclear power plant on Earth, what is the most prominent feature? It is those giant cooling towers blowing out white steam. Earth reactors use water to transfer heat and spin turbines. But there are two massive problems with the moon. Number one, liquid water doesn't easily exist on the surface. Number two, there is no atmosphere, which means there is no air to absorb the heat. Space is a vacuum. It is a terrible conductor of heat. If you run a nuclear reactor on the moon, it will melt itself into radioactive slag in minutes because the heat has nowhere to go. So how do Chinese and Russian engineers plan to solve this? They have to use closed-loop systems with exotic coolants. Instead of water, these space reactors will likely use liquid metals, like sodium or a sodium-potassium alloy. These liquid metals flow through the reactor core, absorb the intense nuclear heat, and then transfer it to a Stirling engine. A Stirling engine uses that heat difference to push a piston back and forth, generating electricity continuously, reliably, and without needing a single drop of water. Excess heat is then radiated out into the vacuum of space using massive umbrella-like radiator panels. China has been aggressively testing this technology. In 2028, China will launch the Chang'e 8 mission. This mission isn't just about taking pictures. It is designed to test in situ resource utilization. That means using lunar dust to 3D print bricks and testing the robotic systems that will eventually assemble this nuclear powerhouse. They are laying the literal foundation for a city. But let's ask the most important question: why? Why spend billions of dollars to put a radioactive machine on a dead rock 380,000 kilometers away? Is it just for national pride? No, it is about money. It is about resources, and it is about controlling the next century of human evolution. The moon is a treasure chest, and nuclear energy is the key to unlocking it. For billions of years, the sun has been bombarding the moon with solar wind. Earth's magnetic field protects us from this wind, but the moon has no shield. Because of this, the lunar soil has absorbed over 1 million tons of a very special isotope called helium-3. On Earth, helium-3 is incredibly rare. But why do we care? Because helium-3 is the holy grail of nuclear fusion. If we can master fusion energy back on Earth, helium-3 could provide unlimited, clean energy with virtually zero radioactive waste. Just one space shuttle cargo bay full of helium-3 could power the entire United States for a year. But you cannot mine helium-3 with a pickaxe. You have to heat millions of tons of lunar dirt to 600 degrees Celsius to extract the gas. You need massive robotic excavators operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You need heavy-duty processing plants. You need a megawatt-class nuclear reactor. And it's not just helium-3. The moon is rich in rare earth elements, the exact same elements you need to build smartphones, electric cars, advanced microchips, and military lasers. Right now, China controls about 70% of the world's rare earth production on Earth. If they establish a nuclear-powered mining monopoly on the moon, they won't just win the space race. They will control the supply chain of the entire solar system. By the way, let me ask you, would you support mining the moon if it meant unlimited clean energy here on Earth, even if it changes the moon forever? So as for the timeline, right now the clock is ticking. NASA wants their small 100 kilowatt reactor up there by 2030 to plant their flag in the sand and show that America is still leading. But China and Russia are playing the long game. Between 2030 and 2035, they plan to launch 5 super heavy lift rockets. These rockets will carry the modular pieces of the nuclear reactor and the robotic assembly units. By 2035, the reactor goes critical. The power comes online. The lights turn on. And for the first time in history, the dark side of the moon will not be dark anymore. By 2050, China envisions a sprawling network of lunar bases, all powered by a combination of solar, radioisotope, and nuclear fission grids, complete with high-speed internet and human astronauts. The moon will no longer be an empty rock in the sky. It will be the 8th continent. The competition to put a nuclear reactor on the moon is the most important technological battle of our generation. Whoever controls the energy controls the resources, and whoever controls the resources controls the future. If you want to stay updated on this crazy new space race and explore more mind-bending space technologies, like this video and hit the subscribe button.